Happy Hour with Johnny Radio.
If you like pina coladas.
On AM 560, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports 56 Happy Hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Check it out right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, and now,
The only man to give death a near Johnny experience. Johnny Harden.
Yo, what's up, my folks? Y'all know what it is today? It's a happy Tuesday. We got Sports 56 Happy Hour. My good buddy Gabe Kuhn at G_Kuhn71. He's with me. I'm up in the hizzy. You know that, Johnny_radio on Twitter. 2 o'clock, by the way. Gonna have somebody we hadn't had on in a long time, John Luke McCord, for a few minutes to talk a little football. And it's going to be a heavy football because from 1:30, I got CFB Hourglasses. Jake Wimberly also going to join us. We're going to do the leadoff with my friend Gabe Kuhn. Hardenwood, because deadgummit, it just feels so good. And we got just so many things to get into, from Dame time, basically running out of time. Looks like Damian Lillard's bubble was burst. We don't know how the MRI, basically, it came out from last night. They said it's not very... It didn't reveal anything, so far we really don't know if he's going to be able to play again. But I just have to say, Lakers up 3-1, Kobe Day 8-24. The whole situation was just absolutely wild. And then even in the simple fact that 24-8, sorry, the fact that everybody's got 24-8 on, but the Lakers were up 24-8 also at one point. I don't know how many people noticed that. If you listen to LeBron James talk last night, he talked about that. He's like, Kobe was in the building. I think that's one of the reasons LeBron pulled up from almost like half court and buried one. They look really, really good. And Dame time, I got to say, I hate to say it, Portland, they are out of gas, it looks like. But I will also have to say, is the Mavericks, are they going to run out of gas? Y'all know Kristaps Porzingis has been ruled out for Game 5. Can Luka have any more magic against the Clippers? Man, what a series. This thing is 2-2. Porzingis gets thrown out in the first game for the Tech. Now he's not going to be able to play because his knee. It's going to be it's going to be on Luka. But the interesting thing is if you look at some of the stats, and I'm not going to say that they are better with him. Better without him. I'm definitely not going to say that. I'm just going to say it's weird. Did you know that while he's been on the court, their net efficiency rate is negative 3.3? When he's off the court, they're plus 3.3, of course. They're getting 56% of their rebounds compared to 47, and they're higher. They have a higher assist rate. It's fascinating to look at the numbers. The Mavericks have actually played better with him off the court. But it's almost basically just because Luka's had to go Magic, man. And Luka has gone Magic, Porzingis can leave, and then Luka's just like burying threes in people's eyeballs and stuff. So Luka's been awesome. I'm going to be honest with you right now. 8 o'clock, Dallas, Los Angeles Clippers, after Luka's magical night. Just the fact that, yes, I know they got a deep bench. I know they got a lot. The Clippers have a very deep bench too, by the way. Seth Curry ain't going to be playing. He's out, so it's not like you're going to be able to have shooting from him. I just look at this Mavericks team tonight, and I say to myself, bro, a lot of trouble. It opened at 6. Do you know that it's gone to 8 since the Porzingis news?
Makes sense.
I think people are kind of thinking the same thought that I am, but we will talk a whole lot of stuff. We also got baseball talk. Wowzers. Albert Pujols is climbing the boards, man. He's putting his name up there, ain't he?
Sure is, man.
Whoa.
Sure is. We'll get to that in the leadoff.
Yeah, we're going to get to that. We got to also talk crazy stuff with Saban in the leadoff. I got to tell you about my kinfolk, James Harden. Bro, I tell this to y'all all the time. The greatest regular season player of all times, my kinfolk, James Harden. But, man, does he mess up in the postseason. Years ago, what was it? So many double-digit turnovers. Like in the fourth quarter.
Hey, man, the
that
Rockets.
last minute was horrible.
The
for
Rockets
him.
need Russell Westbrook back.
They do.
They
but
need him
James
bad.
Harden, what
That
was that
rota-
outlet pass he
but-
threw?
But also, like, that rotation in general, the fact that they were in that game, I get surprised sometimes. It's like, how?
I couldn't believe when Oklahoma City went on that 21-7 run, and I thought they were going to take the lead and never turn back or whatever it was. It was crazy. But I will tell you one thing. I can't believe I'm saying this. The Rockets are always, yes, they need Russell Westbrook back, but I'm starting to get to the point where James Harden is just, like, I don't want to say this, but right now, why doesn't he have the same perception of Lamar Jackson? Lamar Jackson's 0-2 in the playoffs. They call him the greatest regular season quarterback, wins more games in the regular season than any quarterback in his first 2 seasons, but 0-2 in the postseason. He hasn't showed up at the postseason. I'm just kind of curious. I hear everything about Lamar Jackson constantly not being able to get it done in the postseason. Have you not heard this all year, or am I just watching way too much
I'll
NFL?
ask you this: Do you not hear that about James? About James
Not
Harden?
nearly as much. I feel like
it's always the
excuse.
thing with him is always he can't get over the hump. I guess he wins a little bit in the playoffs. He gets through the first round.
Yeah, he'll get the
But he can't get over the hump of actually getting into an NBA championship.
That's true, and a lot more of it for me feels like it's actually on James than necessarily Lamar Jackson. You know, last year, let's be real. Baltimore couldn't stop Tennessee. Derrick Henry ran right down their face. When they got down 14-0, that jump was over. You took away that read option. You took away so many things that the Baltimore team does. And, you know, I have to also say, though, that, you know, the Rockets could have won that game. But the final 2 possessions, James Harden not being able to finish, then getting that rebound, and you got 4 deadgum Rockets right next to you and only 1 outlet, dude. Their whole team's back there, and you try to throw like a pass down the side like you're a quarterback. It was just so it was like, what the bleep are you doing? You're James Harden. You got the ball in your hand. Just go down the deadgum court and score, homie. But anyway, I'm on my kinfolk a little bit if you can't tell. But again, we got a lot of fun. CFBHourglass.com. Jake Wimberly. He's on 3 hours a day, so I'm going to only keep him about 10 minutes today. As he does radio down in Jackson, but I want to know about Mississippi high school football. I want to know what's going on with the air raid offense. I got to ask him some serious questions because, listen, everybody and their grandmother has already said this is Mr. Costello's job. Have you looked at the young guy down there who's doing pretty good? This freshman that actually has a lot, Will Rogers, who's known Gardner Minshew for many years, which I didn't know.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but he switched his commitment because of Mike Leach.
Yes, he did.
He wanted to play for Mike Leach.
Yes, but the wild thing is I was reading stuff. This guy's been doing film study with like Gardner Minshew since when he was actually at Washington State when he was a high school kid. I don't know how their families know each other, but they just basically talked about like the air raid offense. They're coming in late. They're trying to, stick this bad boy in. We'll talk about Jake. Is this KJ Costello's job, or could this young freshman actually steal it from him? Who knows? We'll talk about it at 1:30, but I got to tell you something. I am in the box, Mr. Coon. Can you do me a favor? Throw me one right down the middle so I can David Bodie that junt out of the park.
All right, I'll throw you one right down the middle. You ready?
Throw it.
Albert Pujols last night moved to second all-time on the RBI list. He's 1 behind Willie Mays for 6. He's in 6th all-time on the home run list. By the end of his career, he will move into 5th. He will probably beat Willie Mays, given that he has 659. Willie Mays is 660. Now, the question from me to you, Mr. Johnny Radio, is Albert Pujols a top 10 baseball player of all time?
As much as I would like to try to say that, I can tell you he's a top 10 Cardinal of all time. I did the Cardinal list as well. I hate to say I couldn't get him in the top 25 in all pro baseball all-timers. If you're going to say, John, you're crazy, Ted Williams, career .344 average, and he had to go 3 years to war. Stan Musial won 7 batting champs. Probably the greatest Cardinal of all time. Has 475 home runs to go with 7 batting titles. Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds, Hank Aaron. Let's think. Really simple. Willie Mays, Lou Gehrig, Mickey Mantle. Mickey Mantle, 3 MVP, 7 rings, 20 All-Stars, won the Triple Crown. How many people forget that? And was a baller in the World Series. People also like pitchers, Randy Johnson, Greg Maddux, contact hitters like Tony Gwynn. Man, there's so many catchers, Johnny Bench, Josh Gibson. There's Satchel Paige. There's the kid, Ken Griffey Jr., Joe DiMaggio, Jolton Joe, Cy Young, Rogers Hornsby. I could do this for a long time, to be honest with you. Ricky Henderson, greatest leadoff hitter of all time. When you steal 1,400 bases, when you hit that many home runs, you are one of the greatest. I think he's ahead of Albert. Listen, Albert is up there, and I'm going to tell you where I got Albert. I got Albert actually 4th in the all-time Cardinals. A lot of people might say, what? 4th for the all-time Cardinal list? Yeah, man. Do you know, I'm not going to sit there and say Yadi Molina's better than him, or Adam Wainwright, or heck, Ray Langford. I'm not even going to say Ozzie Smith, because I got Ozzie right behind him. But I will say this, Jim Edmonds, he ain't up there. Dizzy Dean is damn close, but I put him right before Dizzy Dean. By the way, think about Dizzy Dean. Won 134 games in 7 years. He had a career ERA of 2.66. Wow. So Lou Brock, by the way, also another great person. He was the stolen base, specialist with 888 stolen bases till my man Ricky Henderson came and rocked that joint. But again, I don't have him ahead of Ozzie. I have him ahead of Ozzie, but I definitely don't have him ahead of Bob Gibson. And there's no way that Stan the Man is he passing. So I got Stan the Man. I got Bob Gibson. I got then Lou Brock. Man, so Dizzy Dean and him are a toss-up. It's tough. So I'm going to go Albert Pujols. So I got him about 4 or 5 when it comes to Cardinals. So he's definitely not a top 10 baseball player of all time. When we go back again, did I even mention Babe Ruth? I don't know if I did. But there's just so many great ones. I didn't mention Mike Trout, who's playing right now, or a Mookie Betts, because we don't know their career's going to get there. But as Albert's numbers keep getting up there, if you keep seeing all the things he's done, yeah, Albert's climbing. I just don't know if he'll ever get into the top 10.
And he's certainly first
that's
ballot.
hard.
He's certainly first ballot Hall of Famer.
He better
no question.
be. Yes, I agree with that.
The only reason I ask is you look at these statistics, man. You're talking about a guy with over 650 home runs, a guy who's second all-time on the RBI list, has over 3,000 hits. The one thing you could say about him is he's not a guy that was overly impressive in the field. He played first base basically his whole career. Couldn't really run the bases all that well. So I get where maybe he, as far as hitters go, though, as far as hitters go in the MLB all time, he's got to be up there.
Yeah, like if you just
he's
go
gotta be up
hitters,
there.
he's like kind of up there. But again, if I go hitters, I'll go Hank Aaron, who leads in the RBIs, the real home run king, Barry Bonds. I got to go Babe Ruth. Heck, again, Josh Gibson, just hitters. He's getting up there. I still have Ricky Henderson even. Joe DiMaggio, 56-game hit streak. Roberto Clemente, Tony Gwynn, the greatest contact hitter. Did you know that Tony Gwynn, in over 10,000 career plate appearances, struck out 500 times?
It's different than nowadays.
Yeah, it is.
Tell you what. Now let's get to some college
football. Oh, and by
football.
the way, and don't forget, like Teddy Williams.
He's
my guy.
Yeah. Let's get to college football. The AP Top 25 came out. What were your original? What were your quick thoughts when you saw it? Because first of all, I thought it was weird that they had the teams that aren't going to be playing this year on it. It's like, what are you doing?
I literally looked at that and I thought I was on drugs because I'm like, dude, like what's going on? And I hate to be a jerk when I say this, but I actually also saw a conversation where people were trying to say, is this going to be a legitimate championship because the Big 10 and the Pac-12 aren't in there? I agree with Ohio State, but what the hell's the Pac-12 done in years? You know what I mean? Like, quit acting like because the Pac-12 ain't in, oh, it's over. And again, how many times do we have to watch a Big Ten team come in there and get their tail whipped by Clemson or an SEC team? How many times? Now, we do have that one nightmarish year, of course.
Let's not sleep on Ohio State, but that's the only one I can really make an argument for.
That's the only one that I can really make an argument for. But I will tell you this. Do you know what I like? I don't like the AP one, but I did like the one that my man Brett McMurphy sent out. Did you see that one?
Where you took out all the teams
He
that weren't
took
playing,
out
correct?
all the teams, and he had Memphis at number 17, Tennessee right ahead them at number 16.
So let's talk about Memphis. They were left off the AP Top 25.
Yep, they had the most votes.
They
though.
were first in others receiving votes. I'll give you that. But you had number 20 Cincy
Yep.
and number 21 UCF. Those are both in their conference in the American. Do you view that as any disrespect to the Tigers?
No, not really. I think that it's, as far as this program has come, there are still a lot of people in this world, Gabe, that remember the Tigers as the worst damn team in college football history. And it's just hard year in and year out to continuously, if you're not from this area, if you don't know Ryan Silverfield, people are thinking, oh, Mike Norvell's down in Florida State. Good. I like Ryan Silverfield. They don't know jack, to be honest with you.
Well, the truth of the matter is, I think when you look at how the AP's voting and all that, it has to do with Ryan Silverfield being a new head coach, and you can't just throw them where they were last year with a brand new head coach. But I do believe the continuity's there, but you just got to see how this season turns out.
They don't know about the indoor practice facility just getting built. They don't know about the recruiting that's going on. And again, they don't know about the coldest running back you never heard of, Mr. Kenneth Gainwell.
Second team preseason AP All-American, by the way, yesterday.
I like that now. There was a lot of running backs that aren't playing again that were on there. That was kind of annoying too.
Yeah, there was 23 preseason All-Americans
Was there 20?
that are not
23?
going to be playing this year. Oh, what a time! What a time!
What a
Now,
time.
Nick Saban. Speaking of what a time, he said he had this to say yesterday. Everybody acts like we want to play for money. We want to play for the players. I want to play for the players. How do you feel about the comment? And I don't want to speak on Saban's intentions because I do think he does want to play for the players in some regard. But do you think he's projecting things on others that may not be true?
Unequivocally, I think he is. I mean, one thing is, it's hard to speak for a bunch of other grown men. It's hard to speak for other people in football. By the way, just so you know, according to, do you know that Nick Saban has made more money coaching college football than anybody in history? Think about what I just said. So for him, I bet it might not be about the money. $45 million to him is like just, chilling like a villain. You know what I'm saying? That's just straight cash, homie. I bet that's probably chilling in his bank. That has nothing to do with his Coca-Cola sponsors or nothing. That's just straight up what he's been paid to be a coach. And I think trying to sit there and pretend that, let's just be real, that the ACC, the Big Ten, and even the Southeastern Conference, who are doing a good job. I like some of the things that they, doing the echocardiograms. I don't see the Big Ten or the Pac-12 doing that with their players if they test positive. They're taking COVID-19 very seriously. But I hate to say this. Whenever they say it's not about the money, it's about the damn money. Let's just be real.
Okay, this is what he said. We want to play. Everybody acts like we want to play for money. We want to play for the players. Who's we? Okay, because if you're talking about you and your coaches, that's one thing. But go ask the AD. Go ask everybody in the athletic department how they feel about this, because I guarantee you they want to play for the money.
Definitely.
Guarantee it.
Stinking it. By the way, it kind of reminds me of something that I kind of didn't understand, and I definitely don't want to get too far off base. But George Hill, I thought LeBron James, all this stuff that a lot of
people, was off. That counts as off base.
But what I'm talking about speaking for everybody, and what I'm just trying to use is like George Hill last night goes to the podium and says, "I don't even think we should be here playing. We should have done this. Blah. We shouldn't even do this. We should still be out there doing things for social justice, and that's it." Well, I didn't know anybody was holding a gun to his head and making him stay down there and cash those $1 million checks to go play. There were players who did opt out to stay with social justice change. So again, it's kind of like when anybody says something like it's not for the money, or I feel like they're just trying to make themselves look good. Sometimes I have to sit back and realistically look at it. Like LeBron James was talking about his feelings as a human being. George Hill was just mad, and I don't blame him. But again, to say that we shouldn't be here playing. I just don't understand that that mentality, because again, nobody is holding George Hill hostage in that bubble.
And also, I think in a lot of situations, speaking for everybody can go wrong.
That's
you can't speak
that's
for
all
everybody.
I was
and
trying
I agree.
to say.
I completely
that's all
agree
I was
with that
trying
sentiment.
to say. So, I think actually, I hate to say this, like I thought George Hill last night took a lot away from what Giannis said, what LeBron said, and what the night was. And a lot of, just everything, because you know what I'm speaking about. I hate this is so sad that I have to actually look in my notes, because I'm just so tired of looking at all the names of the people who have been taken. But, I can't think of that poor gentleman's name who's
Jacob Blake.
Yeah, who's just there's so many names from George Floyd to Jacob Blake. And right now, by the way, if you haven't heard, he's probably going to be paralyzed for the rest of his life. It's just not been a good week. But all I was trying to say, when Nick Saban says it's not about the money, it's about the money. And then when George Hill comes in and after I think a great, conversation says, well, we shouldn't be here. Elaborate on what you mean, because I immediately go to, well, dude, ain't nobody making you stay there to make money and play basketball. Like that was your choice. So I guess that's what I'm trying to say is the SEC, like college football can't scream it ain't about the money when it's always been about the money. And then other people can't sit there and say they shouldn't be there if they ain't being chained there. You know what I'm saying? Especially if they're getting paid. I'm not trying to say anything about George Hill. I'm not trying to put any cast aspersions on Nick Saban. I'm saying, well, basically one of the things that I do for a living, speak for a lot of people, it is very difficult. And sometimes you really got to think about what you say. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm going to think about a lot of stuff called high school football. I'm going to think about Mississippi State. And I'm going to talk about the CFBHourglass.com with my good friend Jake Wimberly. But before I go, I got to tell y'all one quick thing. Always remember, MemphisFarmers.com, my good friend Chad Gatlin. He's the real deal, Holyfield. Think about life insurance right now. And the reason I say it, we've got almost 55 million Americans who are on unemployment. If you have your life insurance tied to your work, God forbid something happens to you during that time, and then your family has nothing. Make sure that they have a rock to stand on. It's going to be a hard time, and the only thing that we all have in common is that we are all going to pass. So make sure your family's taken care of. And by the way, when you go just I want you to go to MemphisFarmers.com, but I also want you to call Chad. And plus, when you go to MemphisFarmers.com and you hook up with MemphisFarmers.com, he is your agent. When you actually don't have an agent, because believe me, before Chad, I didn't have an agent. I didn't realize by just getting the thing on the internet. And then when you have an accident, do you know how big of a pain in the keister it is to actually get somebody to do anything for you? That's why you need a friend. Chad Gatlin will be your friend with the power of Farmers Insurance, and he knows Memphis like the back of his hand. Give him a call, 901-235-1176. That's 901-235-1176. Never forget my good buddy at MemphisFarmers.com. Albert Pujols, congratulations. It was amazing. All kinds of things that are going on, but right now we're about to switch some gears to college football with my good friend Jake Wimberly on Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7 FM.
Listen online anywhere, anytime at sports56whbq.com.
We saved big money with our Progressive Home and Auto Bundle and used the cash to take a family vacation.
To Hawaii.
Who's up for a luau?
Yay!
This is not a real testimonial. Sure, customers can save big money with Progressive, but not enough to go to Hawaii. They'll probably use it for things like the mortgage and groceries, or even a travel magazine, so at least they can see pictures of Hawaii.
Aloha!
Yes, say hello to those beautiful Hawaiian beaches in that magazine. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
All 75 months at 2.99 APR, G4 LHFO 7857, Outlander LU 029538, Eclipse LZO 15617, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 59875, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through the end of the month. Dealer stock only.
It's time to fully charge your summer with great savings from Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. You'll find 0% APR for 60 months, plus $500 cash back. Drive your ambition in a new 2020 Mitsubishi Mirage G4, $139 a month, or buy for $12,435, 41 MPG high. Highway. 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport is ready for any adventure at $229 a month or buy for $18,573. And cross over to summer in a 2020 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, $19,107 or $229 a month. Backed by a stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Mirage G4, $139 a month. Outlander Sport, $229 a month. And Eclipse Cross, $229 a month. Get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
At Fisher Investments, we do things differently, and other money managers don't understand why.
Because our way works great for us.
But it may not work for your clients. That's why Fisher Investments is a fiduciary, obligated to put clients first. It's the highest standard for a financial advisor.
So, what do you provide? Cookie-cutter portfolios like the rest of us?
No cookie-cutter portfolios here. Fisher Investments tailors portfolios to meet each client's goals and needs.
But you do sell investments that earn you high commissions, right? And make commissions when you make trades for your clients?
No, Fisher Investments doesn't sell any commission investment products, and we never earn commissions on trades.
So what's in it for you?
Fisher Investments fees are structured so we do better when our clients do better. When it comes to helping clients achieve a comfortable retirement, we're clearly different. Visit FisherInvestments.com to find out why investors like you switch to us. Fisher Investments, clearly different money management.
Investments in securities involve the risk of loss.
You hear the phrase all day, every day. In these uncertain times, this. In these uncertain times, that. Well, in these uncertain times, one thing I know for certain, you want you some Central Barbecue. Central Barbecue is open for you to dine in or carry out, online orders and curbside pickup. And another thing you could be certain about is this. We are doing everything in our power to keep you and our staff safe. You can be sure that everyone working at any Central Barbecue is following every safety protocol there is, and they'll encourage you to do the same. Come on in and get some Central Barbecue. And yes, your face covering is probably going to end up with some sauce on it. A small price to pay for safety.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio.
Kick it over here.
This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
What is up? What is up? Welcome back in a little Sports 56 Happy Hour with your good buddy Johnny Radio. You can follow me at Johnny_Radio. Don't forget to follow my good buddy at G_Coon71. That's my good buddy Gabe, always taking care of everything, making sure I sound good. And also follow my next guest at Jake Wim. That's at Jake WIM. Very simple. He does the afternoon drive from 3 to 6 down at ESPN Radio. Down Jackson area. He's also got CFBHourglass.com, which is the real deal Holyfield. If you're a basketball player, if you like to put a little dollar here or there, you just want a lot of information like I do, check that out. But I also got to just tell him, I want to, he does a little bit of everything. But first and foremost, Jake, how are you doing, my brother?
Man, we're good. I appreciate you having me on. It's good to visit with you guys. How are you?
Man, we're doing really well. I wanted to, tell everybody, make sure they check out CFB Hourglass because it looks like we're going to have some college football. There's 3 conferences playing. We know the Pac-12 and the Big Ten are out. Do you think that makes this championship in any way illegitimate?
I wouldn't say that it's illegitimate. I mean, it's going to have an asterisk by it. I mean, obviously because of what's gone on this year. But I mean, let's be honest. I don't think anybody in the Pac-12, and I don't mean this ugly, was going to play for the national championship anyway.
Me neither.
Ohio State, is the big horse sitting on the sideline, so to speak, in the race, and that is unfortunate because I mean, at CFBHourglass.com, like a lot of people, we had Ohio State playing for the national championship, losing a close game to Clemson, and we saw just how close that Clemson-Ohio State game was last year in the college football semifinal, and I think a lot of people wanted to see that this year. It's unfortunate that won't happen.
You ain't lying because, man, I'm telling you, everybody wanted to see what Justin Fields had, another year in that system with Ryan Day. Oh, my goodness. Could you imagine what he would have been like this year? Any chance?
I think he's set to have a monster year.
Monster year. Any chance that you think he could have ever passed, a Trevor Lawrence, or is it just Trevor Lawrence #1 and then Justin Fields possibly still the second quarterback taken off the board?
Oh no, I had Justin Fields as my number one quarterback, ahead of Trevor Lawrence, just by a little bit, not by much, but just by percentage points. But I thought Justin Fields he passed the eye test. I mean, he has the game that, I mean, we won't see it now unless they get to the combine, and he just has an unbelievable combine where he just is heads and shoulders better than Trevor Lawrence. But I had him just ahead of Trevor Lawrence on my rankings.
I love it. I love it. I love it. By the way, speaking of all these things that we're talking about, because rankings have come out, the AP was weird, dropped a lot of teams that aren't playing. I like the fact Bretman Murphy put his own, top 25 with just the teams in there, and we saw Memphis up there. But before I get into college football, I do want to ask this because we had football for the first time this last Friday in the state of Tennessee. Not everybody got to play, of course. But we did have high school football. I was wondering, we heard Michigan's governor yesterday say there is no high school football this year in the state of Michigan. You've heard that they're not doing it out in California. In many places, it's not happening. How are things going in Mississippi?
Things are going well. The state of Mississippi, for those that aren't aware, like a lot of places, I mean, we're broken up into basically two divisions. We've got the private schools. The MAIS, which is not really private as far as on the field. Those teams there's a lot of really good talent in those. But that league, and then we've got the MHSAA, which is your public school system. The MAIS kicked off this past Friday. As a matter of fact, Madison Regional Academy, just right down the road from us, they entertained Trinity Christian. Deion Sanders is coach, the offensive coordinator for that team. His son is the quarterback. They came over to MRA and lost a 1-point ball game. It was a heck of a ball game. So we're playing high school football, kicked it off this past Friday, and hopefully a week from Friday, John, we're going to have just about everybody except for a couple school districts in the state of Mississippi. They're going to be teeing it up playing high school football.
Oh, that's great news, man. I want these kids so badly to have their senior year because, as much as you feel for what happened last year with these college athletes and missing March Madness, I can't. For me, it's hard. Yes, it's the college athlete breaks my heart. But there's something about a high school kid who's worked his tail off his whole life, who's not going to have an opportunity possibly to go play any college ball. This was going to be his, last hurrah. This was going to be the year that they kind of carry with them. Hey, man, you make great buddies. You make great memories. And for this to be robbed from so many young kids across this country, it's just one of the it tears at my heart.
It does. It really is sad. I hate to see the states that are not going to play high school football. I get some of the logic I don't get, and we probably don't have enough time to get into that. But I hate that some of the kids that aren't going to get a chance to play. Now we've seen some big time college athletes, high school athletes that are on the college board as far as 247sports.com recruiting that have already moved out of the state of California.
Yep.
There's been several in the state of Michigan that's talked about, okay, we're out of here. Those that have the means to get out are getting out. And just even in college, that's happening. I saw where UCLA, they had an offensive lineman that, hey, he's out. He wants to play this year. He's transferring. So there are options for, guys that can get out and move and shake. And it looks like a lot of guys from the high school to the college ranks are going to take advantage of that.
Now, I can't wait. Now, this is where I'm definitely teeing it up for you because you are a college football savant. Mississippi State, though, they bring in Mike Leach and the air raid offense. You look at Costello, you think automatically this young man is definitely going to have the job. But there's a young man that I've been reading about who's impressing, turning heads for the coach, and that's Will Rogers. I did not realize this freshman knew Gardner Minshew, was very familiar with Mike Leach's offense, understands basically the lingo, the reads, all that stuff. Is there a chance Will Rogers kind of takes this reign away from KJ Costello?
Well, let me just tie the circle a little tighter for you. And I don't even know if you know this or not. I was fortunate enough to call every one of Gardner Minshew's high school football games right down the road here at Brandon High School. I've been the play-by-play voice for those guys.
Did not know that.
Yeah, 9 years. And conversely, I had an opportunity to call every one of Will Rogers' ball games as well. So seen them both, know them both real well, and I think Will's upside is amazing. I thought that was a steal for Mississippi State to get him. However, I don't think that he can unseat Costello this year. But, I mean, when Will Rogers, and there's a lot that you can find about Will. His father was the offensive coordinator at Brandon. There's a lot of air raid ties. I mean, Will knew, from a high school level, knew this offense fairly well anyway.
Interesting.
And when I tell you that he can make every throw, he can make absolutely every throw. I wouldn't anticipate him being the starter this year. He may get some time, but in the future, I do think he's the future at Mississippi State.
Do you think he could have, are you thinking that he has the kind of skill to be a Gardner Minshew or a Dak Prescott from Mississippi State? Do you think he has an opportunity to be a great quarterback in this system? Because you said he makes all the throws. You watched him in high school. From the articles that I read, like I said, I had no idea you did Gardner Minshew's games. I didn't know that Will played at the same school. I was just kind of reading about how he did, film study with Gardner. Him and Leach seem like they're on the same page and all this stuff. And it just kind of grabbed at me like, wow, I didn't know they had such a young, a good freshman that, like, realistically, we've never brought up Will Rogers around here. And as of late, just some of the articles I've been seeing, because, spring practice is finally starting back. We had football, they're actually out there hitting and in pads and actually doing things. And again, like you said, he makes all the throws. And all I keep hearing from my friends at, down in Starkville is that this Will kid can just flat out, he is just on point.
Yeah, I mean, look, the guy's he's an unbelievable, I guess you could say prospect coming out of the high school ranks, 6A, the biggest division in the state of Mississippi. I sat here and watched him for 3 years, toss touchdown after touchdown. And look, this guy's, doing against some of the best in the country. And I'm talking about going up, was it Brandon? We went last year down to Louisiana, lost a 3-point ball game to the best team in the state of Louisiana. And he tossed 3 or 4 touchdowns in that game against some really high-end talent. So, I mean, he moves well in the pocket. His footwork is really good. I would say velocity-wise, he's probably coming out of high school a little bit better velocity than Gardner had.
Wow.
Both of the guys, can flat out. I mean, when I say make every throw, I'm talking about from the back shoulder fade on the sideline to, the touch passes on the post routes and the corner routes. Reading defenses, we're talking about check 1, 2, 3, back check 1. I mean, they both were really good at doing both of those. Gardner probably a little more vocal as far as his, persona. Obviously, when you see what he's doing at Jacksonville, Will a little more reserved, but nonetheless, yes, to answer your question, I think Will has the sky is the limit and would not be shocked at all to see him turn into an all SEC type player and even have a chance to make the jump to the next league, which would be the NFL.
Now, if this next year is KJ Costello's year, which I think it will be, how effective do you think he'll be in the Southeastern Conference coming from over the Pac-12?
I think he's got a chance to be really good. Talking with some people inside that program, there are a lot of people that have talked really, really highly as far as the way Costello has bonded with that team and the way that he can. I mean, you're talking about a guy that was Pac-12. He was an all Pac-12 quarterback at Stanford. So the guy's a big kid. He's got a rocket arm, and I think he's going to just fine. The big question for Mississippi State is, and for this offense, is how many pass catchers will they really have? I mean, they've got some young talent. They've got some guys coming in that are, getting some snaps from the JUCO ranks. They got a transfer coming in from Alabama that's, going to get some time at the wide receiver position. How does Kylan Hill fit into this offense? So, as the weapons go, so will Mississippi State. I think KJ Costello, though, as far as his play, I think his play will be much different than what you saw with Tommy Stevens, who was riddled with injuries during his year at Mississippi State.
Oh, wow. So you're going to be calling a high school football game this weekend, huh?
Next weekend.
Next weekend.
We don't kick. The MHSA kicks off next week. Next weekend, we're getting everything set here because we do the live stream plus the radio, and of course the radio comes out of our cluster here. So, trying to get all of that set and ready to go.
Well, Jake, do me a favor. Tell everybody about CFBHourglass.com. Tell them about your show, which is actually you got to go get ready for from 3 to 6 on ESPN Radio 105.9. Give them a little bit of love. Give yourself a little bit of love.
Hey, I appreciate that. Yeah, you can go to CFBHourglass.com and check out all the articles. Now, I haven't put out a ton of articles since the pandemic or since the college football stoppage. Let me say that because but I have put out. You can go to my Twitter feed at Jake Wim. A ton of stuff on numbers as far as win totals. Revamped win totals for the SEC. Really, just crossing fingers, hoping we're going to play. And then, John, I'm actually working on, and this is something I've had in the hopper for a long time, or since I started doing college football analytics. But I figured this is the year to drop it because at one point I thought we weren't going to play. NFL analytics, this is the first NFL Hourglass year. Yeah, I already finished the AFC. Actually, I dropped my 7 AFC playoff teams yesterday, working on the NFC right now. As a matter of fact, when you called, I just finished up the NFC East.
I just got to ask you, are the Titans, are they making the playoffs this year in your mind? I think so, too. I
really like that football team. If they can continue to get the play at quarterback play that where it needs, just above average where it was last year in the playoffs. That's a good team. I like that team. That's a good sleeper pick, John. You know that.
I sure do love it, and I love talking with you, Jake. Go enjoy. Tell Beaver I said what's up, by the way. He's also he's the Gabe Kuhn for my show. I love your boy, Beav. I always listen to you, and I love joining when I get a chance to. But thanks for joining us today in Memphis, my man, and be safe down in Mississippi.
Anytime, man. We'll talk soon. I appreciate it.
Thank you. That's Jake Wimberly, college football hourglass, probably one of the nicest guys I know, and he knows football like the back of his hand. I did not know that he called all of Gardner Minshew's games, though. That was pretty interesting. And the fact that I brought up Will Rogers, that's what I just texted him this morning. I'm like, hey, Will? He's like, heck yeah, I can come talk about Will. I didn't know that he watched all of his games. I just figured he
called all of his games.
Called all of his games. I just figured, honestly,
probably knows his stats.
He's a junkie, and I know he will know it. And I was, wondering because, I was not impressed with KJ Costello at Stanford. Just was not. Now, did they run a different offense? Hail to the yes. Will KJ Costello fit a lot better than this in the air raid offense? Maybe. I always did think, though, he has a pretty slow release. It's one thing I didn't like. I don't know if you noticed this. Watch him, and maybe Mike Leach will move it, but instead of coming from your ear to throw the football, he winds up. And when you wind up, defensive ends a lot of time come around and knock that ball out.
It's just bizarre seeing a guy coming from a David Shaw pounded on the ground. Like, I don't even know how many times a game to try to go to an air raid. Like, it's going to – I feel like it would be a learning curve for him, especially with no spring ball. I don't know. I think he's talented, but I want to give him a chance before I say it's not going to work out.
I think it's going to be I'm telling you, I think Costello actually might work out. It scares me with the Southeastern Conference defenses, and also if you just look at Mississippi State's schedule, that all SEC schedule that they got, it looks like a nightmare. But everybody's schedule looks like a nightmare in the Southeastern Conference. But we're going to take a quick break, come back, change things up a little bit. I'm going to get back into a little basketball and things that are going on. But before I do, I want to remind you something very simple. Central Barbecue, we are Memphis, right? We do what best? We do barbecue best, honestly. No, not me. Now, I've always told you, like a lot of people, unless this is actually now, there's like two people I know can actually make ribs that are actually just normal people. But when you live in Memphis, you go get ribs at one of 4 locations: downtown, Central, Summer, or the new Bad Boy on Poplar. If you want to be kind, go to eatcbq.com and you can ship the barbecue anywhere in the good old US of A. People will love you. And by the way, remember, smoke is their sauce. Central Barbecue. Whenever you think Memphis, you always think barbecue. When Memphians, when we think barbecue, we think Central. Whatever you do, don't touch that dial. We'll be right back on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 FM.
Sports Time on Sports 56 with Wallo and Stats. Weekday afternoons from 3 till 6. Right here on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 FM.
Hi, I'm Greg Gaston for Window Genie. Window Genie is a trusted name in window cleaning, but they do so much more. They can take care of your home or business. They clean interior and exterior windows with a streak-free guarantee. They clean gutters, do pressure washing and house washing. They can also clean and seal concrete, brick, and natural stone. Locally owned and operated, insured and bonded. Get your free estimate today and ask for the Sports 56 discount. Call 901-424-4100 and leave the dirty work to Window Genie.
Hey everybody, these new Chevy Open Road deals are spot on for fall right here in Olive Branch at All Star Chevrolet. And I'm telling you, you could save thousands of dollars and get that new Chevy you want today. Blazers, Equinox, Impalas, Camaros, get an all-new Corvette. Treat yourself. And more all-new 2021 Tahoes are on the way. Come pick out the one you want before it even gets here. And I'm looking at more new Silverados than you'll find anywhere. Come drive one. Drive them all. And don't forget to check out the certified pre-owned Chevys. If you don't find exactly what you want, tell them here at All-Star and they will find it and get it here fast with the best financing for everyone. Remember, it's not the Pike, not Collierville, not South Haven or Mount Moriah. It's gotta be Olive Branch, people. And everybody at All-Star Chevrolet has one job: to make sure you get a better deal, have more fun, and in record time. So find new roads to Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet or go check them out online at allstarautogroup.com.
Hey folks, I'm Jarrett Carter. My family recently purchased East Memphis Ace Hardware at Quince and White Station, and we're excited to offer the best selection of Big Green Egg and Traeger grills. And then don't forget about our Benjamin Moore Paint Studio and the Garden Center for flowers. Save 60% with our new Duracell key fob replacement program. We have a master locksmith service as well as glass cutting and screen repair. East Memphis Ace Hardware, located at Quince and White Station behind Three Little Pigs.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Happy Hour with Johnny Radio. This hour is brought to you by MemphisFarmers.com. Insurance coverage backed by a local agent and a brand trusted nationwide. We are farmers. MemphisFarmers.com.
Well, show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. Show me the way to the next whiskey bar. Oh, don't ask why. Oh, don't ask why. For if we don't find the next whiskey bar, I'm gonna cry like a mug. But I gotta tell you something. Don't cry. We got basketball. We got baseball. NFL is gearing up. Now, Hard Knocks isn't any good. Let's just be real. It's painful to watch.
I watched another episode.
You did?
I watch it because I like Hard Knocks, but at the same time, I told you yesterday, like, it's all about COVID-19. Like, it seems like there's nothing about football, really.
Yeah, that's why it drives me crazy. I feel like I'm watching a CNN show.
I brought up the fact.
Sorry.
I brought up the fact that there's no joint practices, no preseason games, so it's just like you see the same things the whole time. Like, there's no hitting, really.
What's the governor's
You
name?
can't really tell what's going on.
I know what you mean. There's nothing. They're just doing drills. The coaches are frustrated. They're showing, like, drink some water. Here's some test. Here, stick this thing up your nose. That looks like...
Here's your little beeper when you're too close to somebody. They're spraying down all the benches and everything else.
By the way, that spray, all that stuff that they're spending money on, somebody was telling me, and I don't know if it's true, again, like that it doesn't really live on the surface very long, that they're like this country's spending like millions a day on something when it's more of an aerosol situation. Now, again, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I'm not trying to like say that's just the way it is. I just found it kind of fascinating. And this was the airlines, and yes, I want everybody to be clean. I want them to kill germs and everything, but I mean, I don't know if it makes a difference. That's all I was saying. But I will tell you one thing. Neyland announced only 25% of the stadium capacity. Did you check that out at all?
People are announcing stadium capacities. I mean, I'm hearing them.
Tennessee announced this morning that...
And then I hear... The thing that gets me is like...
Well, there's some people that are mad.
Yeah, you see people complaining about it. And it's like, did you expect it to be a full stadium with no masks or guidelines of any sort? Like, what did you expect?
Here's what I've heard from most of them. 10, 15, 20, 25% in a stadium that big, it's ridiculous. If we can't have, more and do social distancing, then I mean, I'm just trying to say this is I'm not making the argument, but I do see the argument. But this, again, what I'm trying to say is the health officials, this is based on the recommendation from the public health officials by each state. Like the Tennessee health officials are the one that came out and said to Tennessee, we recommend 25% capacity.
Am I the only one who thinks, though, like if you're complaining about this, you're just making the situation more miserable for everybody involved? Like, they have guidelines. They're not going to change their guidelines. There's a reason there's guidelines. You have to live with them if you want to go to the game. If not, stay home and watch it on your TV. I don't think it'll be that big of a deal. But complaining does nothing but make the situation more miserable.
It does. It only makes it more miserable. But the other ones that people are complaining about is, and I do understand this one, and I don't understand. But this is where I want to say, Nick Saban, when you say that it's not about money, but then when they come out and literally say that once seating in the premium area has been assigned, Vols donors will be bracketing according to their annual gift size. So who gives the largest amount gets the best tickets and actually gets tickets. And it's basically like, this is opening up on Thursday. It starts this Thursday, by the way, for all the Tennessee fans. I'm sure you're going to be receiving emails. If you're a Vols person, you can go to volstix at utk.edu. And if you're a student, this does kind of stink. Have you seen the students, the games will be issued on a game-by-game basis. Basically, they're expecting out of the 25,000 man, it doesn't even make any sense. Okay, so if you got 102,000 stadium, okay, that means you can have about 25,600 fans. Okay? Sounds right? Now, they said the experience, like this is a season ticket attendee. He said they've already had over 25,000 requests. So where the hell is the student going to sit?
No students.
It doesn't. I was going to say, it sounds like this is going to be college football with nothing but big donors up in that joint. So, again, when you say it's not about money, and then you say, oh, we're only going to hold 25%, and we're not just going to sell season tickets, but it's based on your gift, how big your gift is going to be. And then that, decides whether you get a thing of season tickets. Again, the deadline to respond after Thursday is 48 hours. Good luck to all the Vols people out there who are trying to get tickets, man, and it's going to be interesting. But again, once they say it's not about the money, it's always about the money. Now, one other thing I did want to remind y'all, because it is the month is coming to an end, and I've told y'all that my good friend Richard Coleman is riding 568 miles to raise money to fight cancer, and I think he's just a great dude. I had him on the radio not too long ago. We are running out of time. If you want to be a part of this, go to the Great Cycle. It's very simple, GreatCycleChallenge.com. Check out my friend Richard Coleman. If you can donate, please do. Again, the money goes to St. Jude, other cancer research. It goes to like 25 different hospitals. It's every proceed, every dollar goes to fighting cancer, and the fact that Richard's out there on a bicycle. It's hot as heck out there. He's riding like a madman. I got nothing but mad respect for him, so give him a little bit of love. Now, coming up next, Jake Wimberly. John Luke McCord. Already had Jake Wimberly. Thank you, Jake. Now, John Luke McCord is coming on. We talked Mississippi State like a maniac, didn't we? It's time to switch gears and talk a little Ole Miss football. Plus, we got to talk about the Memphis Tigers, the AP poll. We got to talk about the games tonight. No Kristaps Porzingis. And I'll just tell you right now, Buda Baker is rich, yo. Buda Baker, did you see 4 years, $59 million?
Highest paid safety in the league.
How in the heck is he? Now, I know Arizona, is that enough money to buy a house like Cliff Kingsbury?
More than enough, I think he'll figure it out.
4 years, $59 million. Buda Baker. I do have to also say that the reason I bring this up, because he's a safety. Who else is a safety that's out there? Earl. And he might go where? How much is he going to get? Who knows? But Grant Delphi out of LSU, he's done. Achilles, blown. Everybody keeps talking about just Dallas. Would Earl not fit in over with Cleveland for a year? Maybe. I mean, you got Odell Beckham Jr. It ain't like Cleveland's dealt with big personalities. They got big person. Their quarterback's got a big personality. I don't know. We'll see. I just wanted to throw that one out there. Don't forget about Earl Thomas, who's out there fighting people and doing all kinds of fun stuff. But whatever you do, just if you know Buda Baker's number, give him a call and ask him for a loan. I'll be right back. Never forget my good friend, MemphisFarmers.com, Chad Gatlin. Always check him out. That's MemphisFarmers.com. Chad Gatlin, 901-235-1176. We'll be right back with my good friend John Luke McCord on Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7 FM.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm here with outstanding team from Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway. They're online at lexusofmemphis.com. Gary, tell everyone how they can experience the Lexus of Memphis satisfaction.
Come in and be a part of our family at Lexus of Memphis. Experience the customer service that we provide to each guest like a member of our own family. If you're on the side of the road and you need us, we're there. If you need help with anything with your car, technology, Bluetooth, the app suite, we have a dedicated team to help you with this in your journey with your Lexus.
That's how they do it at Lexus of Memphis.
All 75 months at 2.99 APR, G4 LHFO 7857, Outlander LUO 29538, Eclipse LZO 15617, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 59875, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through the end of the month. Dealer stock only.
It's time to fully charge your summer with great savings from Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. You'll find 0% APR for 60 months, plus $500 cash back. Drive your ambition in a new 2020 Mitsubishi Mirage G4, $139 a month, or buy for $12,435, 41 MPG Highway. 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport is ready for any adventure at $229 a month, or buy for $18,573. And cross over to summer in a 2020 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, $19,107 or $229 a month, backed by a stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Mirage G4, $139 a month, Outlander Sport, $229 a month, and Eclipse Cross, $229 a month. Get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Google or Alexa to play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned to real sports talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Chad Gatlin is your Mid-South Farmers agent, and he's easy to find. Just go to memphisfarmers.com to get a fast quote or call his office at 901-237-1176. And during this wild time we're all facing, know Chad has you covered. Whether you need to file a claim, get a quote, or just talk about what he can do to give you the absolute best coverage at the best price. Chad is a Memphis man and knows the area and that everyone is different, and he will work to make sure you have everything you need and nothing you don't. Get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com or call 901-235-1176.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Here we go. On Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Coat. Man, I love this little widespread panic. Got my friend coming on, John Luke McCord. Man, to talk Ole Miss, doesn't that kind of like all go in together? Yeah, that's right. JoJo's down from there. He's in Oxford all the time. But anyway, I'm talking with my good friend John Luke McCord, but welcome back into Sports 56 Happy Hour. Y'all know Gabe Kuhn at G_Kuhn71. He's my big boss man that always leads me off and keeps me somewhat on the rails. He at least tries. Y'all know me, Johnny _
Keyword
radio.
somewhat.
Somewhat, yeah. Somewhat. He tries, though, I can tell you that. But we're going to talk a little bit, we're going to talk some more basketball. I told y'all about Buda Baker getting super rich. Proud of Albert Pujols. He just keeps climbing that list. No, I don't think he's a top 25 player of all time, but I do think he's a top 5 Cardinal of all time, with Stan the Man Musial being number 1. But you know what? Everybody and their grandmother is either talking high school football, college football, NFL, The Rock buying the XFL. While we might have the playoff bubble just going on and baseball going on, this is still a football-crazed community. And I'll tell you one thing, they got their pads back on. NCAA football is, the schedule for the SEC was announced. I am so dead gum fired up. So that's why I'm also fired up to bring on my good buddy John Luke McCord, who it's been I feel like it's been years. John, how are you doing, my brother?
Man, it is. I'm doing great now. I'm glad to be back on with you guys. It's been too long.
And it's been way too long. Always find him at JL Grindin on Twitter. It's at JL Grindin. Y'all know him. He works at the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal, like his buddy Parrish, who was on last week. He also does play-by-play color and all that good stuff for high school football, basketball, baseball, and everything. Before I get into anything, because I asked my buddy Jake Wim, are you getting ready to gear up, do a little high school broadcasting in North Mississippi?
Yes. We this coming Friday is actually Jamboree Week, Week 0, Scrimmage Week. Scrimmage is how they're referring to them this year in Mississippi. So, and then the week of the 4th, that first Friday in September, we're going to get kicked off here with our high school football season. I mean, I will say this. This will actually be week 2 of private school football in Mississippi, so private school football was able to get off without a hitch last Friday night. So very exciting time for high school football. I'll be back on. I mean, if you guys are familiar with the area, Pontotoc football, so should be a lot of fun, and glad to get back into high school football. That's sort of where it all started for me, and one of my favorite levels to watch.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty interesting. There's a lot of great stuff that's going on. And the fact is, for me, I'm just so happy that the young kids, the seniors, are going to get an opportunity at least to give it a go and try to play this year, because I just couldn't imagine having your senior year, heck, your junior year, any of your high school taken away for something like this. That would just be sad. Again, it's just a sad situation. I mean, it's happening in all those people in Michigan. High school football has been canceled. The Big Ten has been canceled. Pac-12 has been canceled. But they are playing in the Southeastern Conference. And I will tell you, there's a man who knows a little bit about Ole Miss. That is John Luke McCord. And I got to ask you right now, how are people in Oxford? How are people in North Mississippi? How are they feeling about Lane Kiffin still? Is the honeymoon still on in full effect? Has he figured out who's going to be his quarterback? Just right now, what is the feel? I'm not talking about necessarily on the team. What's the feel between I don't think you still get to go to bars like you used to or whatever, but when you talk to people, how do they feel about this year's Ole Miss team?
Look, I think that Ole Miss fans are getting ready to sort of re-kick off that excitement, maybe not to the level we saw when Kiffin was hired, but certainly I don't think anything that Lane Kiffin or the team has done has really de-energized the fan base. Look, just as the news turns day by day, hour by hour, some of that excitement becomes anxiety and nervousness. But I will say this. Ole Miss has got 3 practices under their belt. They're getting into that daily rhythm of fans getting to see some reaction, getting to see some pictures on social media, getting to see some practice reactions and write-ups and stuff. Of course, Parrish Alford and Dalton Middleton, our state and Ole Miss beat writers, are having reaction each day on the site and journal.com. So, I mean, fans are starting to get that normal news flow. Things are starting to feel real. We're getting close to inside 30 days until Ole Miss fans will have a game. I think the one thing that's missing is just those usual elements that you have, maybe pride-wise, I guess you could say, going into the season, because going into the season right now, everybody feels good outside of Arkansas and Vanderbilt fans, I guess you could say. But everybody feels pretty good. Is picking the positives from their team. They're not looking at the depth chart objectively just yet. And reality hasn't sunk in. So I think that, look, you get that normal excitement before a season. I don't think it's as high as normal this year. So I think that's the one thing that's missing. But I think things are getting ready to get re-cranked up. As you start to see Lane Kiffin on the practice field in that Ole Miss gear, you start to hear his post-practice interviews and press conferences, things like that. And so, I mean, he's actually been pretty honest in week one. I mean, obviously reserving a lot of information, who's out with Rona, who's out with injuries, things like that. But he did talk about the quarterbacks and their performance in the Saturday scrimmage they had, the first scrimmage of preseason camp, if you will, this past Saturday. He certainly said, look, the offense was better than the defense, and Matt Corral was better than John Rice Plumlee today. And it wasn't exactly like that, more along the lines of Matt Corral was really, really good today, and John had a key turnover, had some things on. Yeah, and so he certainly stated that, didn't give an overall view of where the quarterback situation is, but look, this is a situation where it certainly looks to be trending towards Matt Corral. I know I told you guys, as much as the headlines have changed, I've changed my take on this offseason. But look, John Rice Plumlee seemed to have the momentum just from familiarity having started last year, and that playmaking ability, no matter what offense they were going to run, he could get it done with his feet. You know that. But it seems as things are developing, Matt Corral is going to have that leg up just because this is an offense where Lane Kiffin is going to want to elevate, going to get the football up in the air. And so I will say this too. Ole Miss, everybody knew the running backs coming back. It was a strong group for this team,
the strongest
led by
part
Jerry
of the
Ely.
team by far.
I think the receiver group is what we might be most surprised by. There was a freshman last year named Jonathan Mingo. Obviously wasn't involved in the run-heavy offense as much as you would like to see. He's a guy that Lane Kiffin really, really loves. And another unsung guy at the receiver spot last year, DeMarcus Gregory, could factor in as well. This is a team that's going to want to get it down the field, up the sidelines, however you want to say it. They're going to want to get the ball downfield. And so I think they're going to have receivers, as we've talked about for over a year with this roster now, step up around Elijah Moore.
Man, it's going to be wild. I'm so fired up. But I got to ask you, though, I'm glad, third day of practice, things are going good. Talked about, the first, scrimmage. Matt Corral, actually, like you said, is kind of surprising me because, again, I thought John Rice Plumlee was going to come in, and just the fact that they didn't have the spring ball. And then when you look at the strength, again, it's always going to be their running backs, at least right now. But, we know their running backs are really good, but do they have the wide receivers, Elijah Moore's? What about Jonathan Mingo? How about a Jackson, who they say is one of the fastest guys on the team? How are they looking out there?
I do think that group is looking pretty good, at least from the early rumblings, from people who are familiar with practice settings just a little bit, are familiar with what was put on the field inside Vaught-Hemingway during that scrimmage Saturday. So, look, I think this receiving group is performing. Again, I think they're primed to surprise. You mentioned Danish Jackson, a Mississippi native.
Man, he's fast.
Miles Battle. Yeah, Miles Battle, a Texas native. Those two guys are real burners on the outside. So it'll be interesting. And look, I will say this too. I don't think it's as much from, roster evaluation and what's going on at the receiver position, but it's interesting to see that has been the position Lane Kiffin has hammered on the recruiting trail. I don't know if that's indicative of what he maybe thinks about this group. Like I said, I don't think there's been enough on-field evaluation and practices to do that. They already had a lot of those guys committed, but he's wanting to make sure that position is stocked, and so that would mean a lot of guys have to emerge. We've mentioned sort of the names that are primed to do so. But look, I will say this too, John. That running back group is really, really packed. And
it's
really
not just with Ely either.
No, and that's where I'm going. Yeah, not just with Jerry and Ely. You look at Snoop Connor, a guy who got carries last year, a guy in Henry Parrish we talked about, the signee out of South Florida, that they absolutely, if there was any way to be more pumped about him as a player in this program, they're more pumped now that they got him on campus than they were even when they signed him. They love him. And so I think he's a guy that's going to factor in there too. So you have to look at this element right here, Johnny. They're going to get Jerry and Ely and guys like that outside the backfield a little bit, I think, this year. No reason not to line Ely up right there in the slot, get him some easy passes outside the two tackles there. And I think they're absolutely going to do that. They're going to make sure their best players get touches. So whether we're really talking about 6 receivers when the season gets going, I think you're going to see the ball spread around a core of, Snoop Connor, Jerry and Ely, Jonathan Mingo, Elijah Moore, and the likes.
And I still think, Danish Jackson, when you just got that kind of speed at wide receiver, I think he'll also find a way to get on and do some, the reverses, running that 9 route. And If Matt's
the role they'll
quarterback,
have him in will certainly allow him to specialize in what he does best. He won't have to be a guy that runs the full route tree, plays multiple positions at the receiver spot. He'll be able to play on the outside and be a guy that can pluck defenses deep when they don't respect his speed. Yes.
Now, the other thing I heard is Matt Corral is a little bit better athlete than a lot of people were giving him credit. We talk about the athleticism of John Ross Plumlee, but man, I heard that not just you always hear about Matt Corral throwing the football. I didn't see the scrimmage. I talked to a few people, and they said they were impressed with his footwork, his escapability. When he tucked the ball and ran, they said it didn't look all that much different than John Ross Plumlee. Now, I know John's one of the fastest dudes on the team, but Matt Corral is a lot better athlete than I think a lot of Ole Miss fans were giving him.
Yeah, and I will say this. Last year really was sort of like a year that put a lot of the guys that were in this program on the offensive side of the ball, it put a lot of their progression on pause. I think that's why we're seeing who are the names at receiver, who are the guys that are going to make an impact outside the top two guys at that group. And I think that's why we're also a little bit surprised by the development of Matt Corral, because I will say this, not only was he in a run-first offense, whatever they were running last year, as far as they were certainly wanting to run the football, but
what kind of is Jeff being the offensive coordinator? What is he going to want to do this year, you think?
Well, look no further than what they did at UCF. I mean, certainly they want to keep
what I was
honest
thinking.
And have balance to an extent, but they want to create a situation where the defense is drawn in by the short passing game, and they want to pluck you deep.
Go over the top.
They have to have accurate quarterbacks. But look, I will say this too. This team, these coaches are good at getting quarterbacks ready quickly. I mean, obviously, Jeff Levy had to adjust a couple of times with quarterback injuries there in his tenure, and he was able to do that with ease. So, I mean, and those are freshmen that stepped in those situations too. So, I mean, I think that they're going to be able to get guys ready quickly, which is a benefit, an advantage, if you will, in this COVID time, where you look on the other side, and that's something that our Mississippi State beat writer here at the Daily Journal, Dalton Ellison, talked about in his column on Sunday. Look, Mike Leach, not only offensively he's having trouble, with the timing of getting things installed, but also defensively. They're going to a very, very innovative 3-3-5 set, and they're having to get adjusted to that quickly. So for Ole Miss, I think they've gotten adjusted more quickly on offense. Obviously, on the defensive side, they've had some outbreaks with coronavirus cases, and they've had some injuries. And Lane Kiffin's not specifying which is which, but they certainly were missing a handful of players in the scrimmage on Saturday. So I think that plays in. But look, with Matt Corral, I think we're going to be surprised by a lot with him this year, just because he wasn't able to showcase his talents last year in that offense. But additionally, he took a rib cage injury in that opening game against Memphis last year, and he was never the same. Certainly wasn't able to move around within that offense with his feet at all after that. So I think he was a highly recruited prospect. Once committed to Florida, once even more highly thought of as a sophomore coming out of Southern California. And was just a second-year redshirt freshman last year. So Ole Miss is hoping he takes a big jump under a new coaching staff with an emphasis on passing the football in year 3.
By the way, I want to remind everybody this is John Luke McCord, North Mississippi Daily Journal. By the way, the Parrish Alfred Ben Craddock podcast is going very well. I love listening to you because I know you joined them and did a whole bunch on Ole Miss's recruiting class for 2021. Mm-hmm. I'm going to ask you a little bit about that. Maybe you can fill them in. But before I get to that, you kind of mentioned the COVID-19. How bad does center Eli Johnson opting out for the season? How bad does that hurt?
Look, I will say this. It certainly is a sting, because that's a guy that not only is he a senior, but all that comes with that.
He started every game last year, did he not?
Yeah, no doubt about it. He started every game at center, so there's stability lost. There's a presence of Eli Johnson lost, not only in that locker room but on the field. I mean, you need a guy like Eli Johnson. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's saying. And you always want one of those beacons of stability out there on the field in 10 times. But I'll tell you this, and another thing that hurts the depth. There's a body going out of the
hurts
interior.
your depth. That's true, and you need that in the SEC.
And so what Ole Miss has done, they had to shift the guard. So they're going to really.
So Ben Brown, is that who they're shifting now? Because I know he played the last 2 seasons at guard. I figured that's probably who they'd be send down, because I think he has 24 starts in his last 2 seasons.
He's been a guy that's been right there, stable spot of the right guard spot last 2 years. But much higher upside with Ben Brown at center, but they do have to figure something out now with right guard and then Blake Newman out the right tackle. So questions there.
It's always interesting. Now, I want to talk about something that we don't talk about much with Ole Miss football, and we haven't for a while, it seems like, since the days of Robert Kimdiche and everything. Can this defense can they actually get to the quarterback this year? Are they going to be able to stop the run? I know that y'all got one linebacker who's supposed to be faster than all just get out. I'm just wondering, realistically, is there just enough depth to get through a season and actually be able? That's why I keep like at first I thought John Riles Plumlee would kind of be the quarterback because they would try to run, keep the ball, fewer possessions, keep your defense fresh because you just didn't have a whole lot of bodies. But Momo, the linebacker, I hear he's pretty fast. He's looking good. I'm just wondering, is there any guys who are coming in that have stepped up this year that actually give you just a little bit of hope that this defense is going to be a lot better?
Well, and first, I would take a step back real quick. I think at times the explosive, the hot and cold nature of the offense under Rich Rodriguez with John Rice Plumlee quarterback wasn't the biggest helper for the defense last year, actually, because they were mostly a 3-and-out or big play offense. They scored on the ground a lot, but a lot of them were 60, 70, 80-yard runs from John Rice Plumlee, and they just were not eating up a lot of clock. They had a lot of 3-and-outs that killed them against Vandy, Missouri, teams like Auburn down the stretch. They had some red zone turnovers too there. So, but I think this year it's going to be a difficult test. If this defense is able to, go out there and make the difference on a couple of Saturdays, it's going to be a lot of credit to co-defensive coordinators DJ Durkin and guys there, because I think it's going to be a big task. The defensive line is one of the biggest issues you mentioned, and I do think they've got a couple of guys. They got a guy that can get after the quarterback in Ryder Anderson. The problem is he's going to be awfully easy to game plan for on the edge if they don't have Sam Williams opposite of him. And that's a guy that's not on the field, not practicing with the program right now, under some, having some legal issues away from the field, from the they may or may not be able to sort through and get back on the field. So right now he's not with the team. He's easily their best defensive lineman, their best pass rusher. But they've got a quality player in Ryder Anderson. They'll be good at linebacker. You mentioned Momo Sonogo. They got some guys on the edge.
Dude, he's fast as lightning, by the way.
He's fast. He's smart. He's a guy that is just, you absolutely want a guy like Momo Sonogo in the middle of the field. He's so intelligent. He's physical enough, quick enough to get into the gap.
He can play sideline to sideline. He can cover. He can do everything. I like him.
And they got Makia Henry, too, arguably one of the best tacklers and one of the best noses for the ball in the league. So they're going to be good at linebacker. I think they've got a chance to go get some turnovers in the secondary, but along the defensive line, it's going to be tough in the middle. There's not a lot of depth there, and there's just, at this point, without any more established pass rushers, and if they don't come along, it's going to be awfully easy, I think, for some teams to game plan and slow down, whether it's just Ryder Anderson coming off the right side, or if it's Anderson and those guys coming off the edge. So I think Sam Williams coming off the other edge. So I think right now you really need some guys to step up, and you're going to have to create some pass rush opportunities from that linebacker level too.
Man, it's also kind of interesting to think about it. If Matt Corral is the quarterback, I still we talked. I don't know if I talked to you on the air about this a long time ago, or maybe I talked with Parrish. They're going to get John Riles Plumlee on that field if he ain't playing quarterback because he's just got too much speed. Don't you think so?
I would think so. I just don't know how that wouldn't make sense. I think right now I wouldn't even speculate, they're certainly letting the quarterback battle play out. And there were some comments Kiffin made earlier this week, sort of in reaction to questions about the scrimmage and whether John Rice had played other positions. There was a package there, or if that was something in the future plans. And he basically said, look, that's one of the worst things we could do to a guy that's not only young, but in the middle of a quarterback competition. So right now, he's certainly sticking at quarterback. But you'd have to think that some things are learned in this quarterback situation, and maybe the way the offense takes a turn or starts to look on the field would encourage them, or encourage John Rice.
And it's going to have to be quick too, man, because the 26th of September is going to be here in 2 shakes, and they start off, by the way.
That's why I just
Florida.
Wouldn't expect it early season. Yeah, I wouldn't expect to see Plumlee at another spot, at least in the first, 3-4 games of the season.
That makes sense. That makes total sense. And again, like you said, when you look at everybody's schedule, it's rough. But, open up on, September 26th, and you got Florida coming to town. I think they're, ranked 8th in the country right now. Looking pretty good. We'll see we'll actually see how good this team really is, and then it'll be pretty
We'll see
fascinating.
if they can rush faster, yeah.
But I wanted to ask you one other question. DJ Durkin, how is DJ? How is he working out with the defensive? How's everything going? Is what I'm trying to say. Is he fit in Oxford? Is he present for the media, or is he just basically with co-defensive coordinator and with his guys, and Lane does all the talking?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And a moment ago, I spoke Chris Partridge and DJ Durkin, the co-defensive coordinators there for Ole Miss. But assistant coaches aren't allowed to speak to the media. They're not going to meet with the media, during the season, and that's something Lane Kiffin, takes that on. And so obviously players have been available through Zoom calls, but not defensive coaches. I will say this. I think DJ Durkin is a great fit for this roster, and maybe this is not the defense or the talent or the unit he wants to put on his resume at the end of the year, but I think if you're Ole Miss and you need a guy to intelligently bring a group of guys together, scheme up week by week, and give yourself a chance to be in the game and to make some plays, then DJ Durkin's your guy. Look, not only was he great at Michigan, Florida through the years, play caller, as a recruiter, but he spent the last couple of years on that Atlanta staff as a consultant with the Falcons and learning the ways of the NFL, or at least getting more intimately familiar with some of the workings of their defensive staff. So I think he's a guy that's going to be able to use every ounce of talent they do have on the defense this year. But again, we've mentioned it. There are depth challenges and, frankly, playmaker challenges. I think they've got a nice mix of leadership and some youth and veterans, but it's going to be really hard to make it work with the amount of bodies they have up front. So we'll see how DJ Durkin does work that. I think you're going to see a mix of the 3-4 and, primarily the 4-3 alignment on that side.
Don't forget my man at JL Grindin. He's always working hard. John Luke McCourty knows Mississippi like the back of his hand. And I'll tell you right now, if you want to get a little bit more in depth on Ole Miss in 2021, their recruiting class, you joined Parrish Alford and Ben Craddock. And I believe I think I just retweeted it. So you can go check it out at Johnny_radio, or again, just at JL Grindin. Don't forget, if you like North Mississippi, if you're an Ole Miss fan, check out the Northeast Mississippi Daily Journal. And on Twitter, it's just at DJournalNow. My brother, I'm just so glad I got to talk to you. It feels like it's been so long.
Yeah.
You be safe. Good luck. When I hope, when do you start? When's your first game?
Well, the 4th, the week of the 4th.
Ooh,
yeah, so we'll have
it's gonna
that.
be your
I did
two
high school
shakes
for a while. Yeah.
Man, that's going to be
fun.
fun.
Hey, guys, y'all are the best. I appreciate y'all having me on, and talk soon.
Don't work too hard. That's my buddy John Luke McCord. I love him to death at JL Grindin, and he loves Ole Miss. And he says DJ Durkin's kind of fitting in. I think it'll be an interesting fit. It'll be interesting to see if he can get that defense to play a little bit better. But right now, it looks like Matt Corral had the little bit of an upper hand. And again, it seems like to me, from what I heard about that scrimmage and from some of the people that I've talked to, that Jackson is just a speedster. You got, of course, Jerrion Ely. Snoop Connor's going to run like a madman. Everybody knows Elijah Moore, but there's other guys like Jonathan Mingo and Miles Battle. And then don't forget Momo. This dude plays linebacker with just a reckless abandon, and again can go from sideline to sideline, lots of speed. So the team's got a lot of speed. Lane Kiffin, though, he's just a lot of fun. I think this Ole Miss team is going to be a lot of fun. I think the hard thing is just the fact that the Grove is not going to be rocking and rolling. I think that's going to be hard for Ole Miss fans. And out of all the places, it's going to be hard for LSU. It's going to be hard at Neyland Stadium. It's going to be hard for us that we can't go and tailgate at Tiger Lane here in Memphis. But the fact that we do have football, that's all that matters. Now, I will say, don't go to a fake fandom thing like the NBA bubble. I'll explain to you why. And don't do fake fans either. Because remember, we had the sex dolls at the soccer place over in Korea. Wasn't that right? Was it the Korean soccer team?
So no, it was baseball, I thought.
Or was it? May have been baseball.
Yeah, I think it was
Korean baseball. That's right. Man. Dude, you know how hard it was probably for those baseball
They said they
players
didn't think they were sex
to
dolls,
practice.
though.
They're like up there going, man, she's interesting. But I'll tell you, be careful, and I'm going to mention during Hardwood because you won't believe what the WWE did, and that's what I'm saying. I like the NBA's fake fans. Did you see Rob Fisher by any chance during any of the playoff games? I've seen him like twice. I laugh all the time. I'm like, there's Fish. There's Fish. He's a fake fan, but, he's in the stands. He's not really, but.
He's not a fake fan. He's a virtual fan.
A virtual fan, but it's just.
He's
fan. Yeah, it's really cool, actually. But it's.
I like how the way they set up the venues for it is interesting to me. Like how they made it look not empty, even though it is wildly empty in those places.
I think the NBA is doing great. MLB, I think they're doing a lot better because, I think they're doing not nearly as good, but they're doing better than the Korean baseball just because we haven't had a sex doll issue. But when I tell you about the WWE, you're going to have to wait till Hardwood, but it's coming up next. And never forget, MemphisFarmers.com and my good buddy Chad Gatlin on Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7 FM.
Search Sports 56 on Facebook and give us a like. And follow us on Twitter at Sports 56 WHBQ.
O'Reilly. When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Hey everybody, these new Chevy Open Road deals are spot on for fall right here in Olive Branch at All Star Chevrolet. And I'm telling you, you could save thousands of dollars and get that new Chevy you want today. Blazers, Equinox, Impalas, Camaros, get an all-new Corvette. Treat yourself. And more all-new 2021 Tahoes are on the way. Come pick out the one you want before it even gets here. And I'm looking at more new Silverados than you'll find anywhere. Come drive one. Drive them all. And don't forget to check out the certified pre-owned Chevys. If you don't find exactly what you want, tell them here at All-Star and they will find it and get it here fast with the best financing for everyone. Remember, it's not the Pike, not Collierville, not South Haven or Mount Moriah. It's gotta be Olive Branch, people. And everybody at All-Star Chevrolet has one job: to make sure you get a better deal, have more fun, and in record time. So find new roads to Olive Branch at All-Star Chevrolet or go check them out online at allstarautogroup.com.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Google or Alexa to play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Now back to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour.
Kick it over here. Kick it.
On Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. Here's your host, John Harden.
Gold and shackles, ball and chain. Listen to the whistle of the evening train. You know you about to wind up dead. You don't head back to Tennessee, Jed.
Man, I love a little Tennessee Jed coming back with a little Grateful Dead. We got SEC football rocking and rolling. High schools You know, it's sounding good. I talked with Jake Wimberly earlier today. He's down in Jackson area. He's feeling good down in South Mississippi area, middle of Mississippi. They're about to get rocking and rolling. We talked Mississippi State with Jake. And then we had John Luke McCord, and we went crazy and talked all kinds of stuff from Lane Kidd. You know, what's going on with Matt and John and who's going to be fast and who's going to be great and everything like that. But it's time for me to get to my favorite segment of the day. And that is, let's be real with it. For me, it's Hardwood because I just like talking crazy things. And we've got crazy things to talk about. Trust me. We got bad news with Alabama, but I can tell you actually some good news thanks to my man Doc Swain, who actually tweeted at me, made me feel a little bit better because when they talk about 550 cases popping out, they don't, you know, like right there when you read that, it doesn't say that they have 38,000 students on campus. You know, 38,000 tests, 550. I'm not a mathematician right now, at least not today because I don't feel like being. But that is not the worst number, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But there's also some wild stuff. I can't wait to get into it. So you know what I'm going to tell you right now? I'm going to tell you without 901-406-1101, we got no Hardwood. That's my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. A bang, a bang, boom. All you have to do is call 901-406-1101. He's going to buy any house, any area, as is. Literally, it's as simple as that. You call the number. He's there in 2 shakes. Y'all agree on a price. 5 days later, cash in hand. Bounce, brother, bounce. It's that easy. I was losing my mind. I was young. I was dumb. I was getting divorced. I just lost my job. They called up and they're like, you haven't paid your mortgage in the last 2 months. And I'm like, I know, I'm trying. They're like, well, yo, if you don't pay, we're going to foreclose. What? I would have lost everything. Then I would have been really up a creek, if you know what I'm saying. Probably wouldn't even have a job here because I think if you like, who knows, man? Don't file bankruptcy. It doesn't look good. Now, it also, I wouldn't have been able to buy another house down the road. But no, 901-406-1101. My neighbor gave me Bill's number over 11 years ago. That's why when I came over here, got on the air, I was like, dude, that's one of the guys I got to reach out to, give it out to the people out there because I know there's a lot of people out there who life is peaks and valleys. And if you're in one of those valleys and you don't know how to get out, well, that stinks. So I'm trying to help you. You need to sell your house. If you're a renter of houses, you got 4 or 5 houses you rent out. Right now during this pandemic, you can't collect rent. You're falling behind on a few houses. You're worried about losing something. 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. You call my buddy Bill at I Buy Houses. A bing, bang, boom. I promise you, I just sold your house. Do me a favor. Strike the band. Let's go to Hardwood.
This is Access Hardwood.
Oh, wowzers. How do I even, this is, the first story I have to say is not funny in any way. This is insanity. What the bleep? I talked about virtual fans. I love seeing Rob Fisher when I'm watching the NBA. I like the virtual fans in the bubble. But I can tell you one thing. All the stuff that's going on with the NBA in the world, there ain't no way this would happen. WWE, shame on you. How in the heck does this sneak in? Or who snuck it in? And if you don't know what I'm talking about, this is just disgusting. The WWE had the virtual fans. And guess who one of the fans was at the WWE, what is this called? Monday Night Raw? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Just want to make sure I heard a Raw or something else before. I just didn't want to get that messed up. So I just want to make sure that I got it right. WWE Raw. Well, they're definitely Raw. On the USA Network, by the way, they had a Ku Klux Klan video. A dude in full garb, the head thing on and whatever, I don't even know how to explain this. I don't know how it happens, but I can tell you right now, would you not be freaked out right now if you were the USA Network or if you were part of the WWE, or would you not? I
absolutely would.
If I'm the boss, I'm heads are rolling.
How does this happen? How does it?
I think the only way something like that can happen is I feel malice. how like nobody accidentally sneaks in let's sneak in a KKK or a Hitler video on a virtual fan. Now listen, the Korean baseball, let's be real. I've already told y'all this before. The sex dolls, they knew what they were. They were like, you know why they knew? Because it was really easy to tell. You think they were all just like standing there with their mouth open because they were like, wow, y'all are great. Come on, let's be real. They were made for some other things. That was insanity. We have got to start. I know fans is an issue. Neyland announced today only 25,000. University of Memphis, 12 feet apart. No tailgating. We heard about the Grove. You can't go to the Grove. There's all kinds of, right now, standards. Heck, we know in high school football, it went absolutely crazy last week. But, bro, fake fans, like the cardboard things where the baseballs hit them and kind of destroy their faces, I laugh at that. And then when I saw the weekend at Bernie's, like when Bernie was sitting behind home plate.
See the teddy bear get drilled by the...
yes.
Yeah.
That was hilarious, too.
I hope the teddy bear... praying for the teddy bear.
Dude, teddy bear, I hope you're all right. But Bernie was okay. Bernie was already, gone.
No, he's not okay.
Who?
You don't know who I'm about to bring up right now? Jerry Falwell Jr.
Oh, okay, hold on. I know all about this.
He put in his resignation today from Liberty.
I actually knew all about that, too. Did you see my tweet?
Did you not want to bring this up?
No, I wanted to bring this up.
Oh,
did you see the video that I put out of him?
No,
where he was
which
doing
one?
his
His thrust.
His thrust. Okay, now can I ask you
in the
a
gym,
question?
right?
In the gym with two ladies, and he's like, "Hey, ladies, stand on this bar and let me show you my pelvic thrust." What? What? Are you a lunatic? You are a lunatic. By the way,
say that. I think we know the answer to that.
Now, not only does he do that, did you hear that he also blamed everything on his wife being a cheater and trying to extort him and stuff? Like,
except the pool boy.
The pool boy.
Oh God! I don't even know how to like bring up this story with. I like. It's hard to tread lightly with this thing. He had a pool boy.
I was gonna say you can't really.
Wife was fooling around, but the pool boy alleges that Falwell used to watch while they fooled around.
Yes.
And now this is the reason, of
mad.
course, that he is resigning. Because this guy is claiming he feels preyed upon, which he was 20 years old when they found him he was the pool boy again.
Sure sounds like some Maxwell
man.
nasty stuff going down. Epstein-esque. Ugh.
I didn't know if you wanted to bring this up today, man, but it's hard not to.
Dude,
it's
I was tweeting about it. I had to. I was going to bring it up too.
And then what was it? 2 weeks ago, where he was on the on his yacht with his pants undone.
That's exactly what I was going to say. How is it that and then the worst part for me wasn't, we played the audio in this airwaves one day. Right
Hammered.
Before
Just he was hammered.
And this is a guy who says he doesn't drink. They don't allow alcohol on the campus. They also have the strictest rules for any campus. Basically, if you're a female, you can't, you have to have, the thing down by your knee, and you have to be in by 10 and all this stuff. And then he's, in there working out. Man, I'm sorry. Insanity. Jerry, I don't think you will be missed. And I hate to say, is his best move ever actually hiring Hugh Freeze, or was it that pelvic thrust?
I don't know, man. I don't know what to say about that question.
That was
you asked some really tough to answer questions sometimes. That's the toughest one.
Now, sorry, I got excited about that one. Wow, there's a lot of stuff going on. Which thing do I want to get to next? Probably Mike Trout, who made me laugh. Did you hear about his buddy who sold his baseball card for $3.93 million?
Yeah, you told me about it.
Well, he's like, and he is kind of joking. He's like, damn, maybe I should have kept that one. So he gave a friend of his a very special card, signed it and everything, put it up. And then after a couple of years, his buddy sells the sucker for almost $4 million. I hate to say this. Being Mike Trout's friend pays, brother.
It does, but Mike Trout's saying he should have kept it if he knew. Dude,
you got a quarter
of a $430 million contract. I think you'll be okay,
guaranteed.
Buddy. You're 12
you're
years,
good.
$430 million.
Now he can actually maybe pay for a meal once. Like if you take him to Nobu, he can actually pay for one.
He probably, honestly, with that type of money, he probably owes him meals for the rest of his life.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, good Lord, that's awesome.
That is actually one of the coolest things.
You go to Nobu every night, though, you'll probably be struggling after a few years. That's expensive stuff.
Well, can I tell you the only people that can eat there almost every night is the damn Kardashian because they're out with a different basketball player. I had a funniest conversation last night with somebody at the pool, like down by our pool down where I live, and it was basically them arguing about which Jenner or Kardashian dated this basketball player. It was it got very high in the numbers. They really liked them basketball players.
Yeah.
And then
we've talked about this several times.
I know, but
on
when
the
we
show,
mentioned my kinfolk, James Harden, and I was like, no, James Harden is not dating one of them. I know it because last I saw a video he was with Mia Khalifa.
He's been with one of them, right?
Oh yeah. He used
it was
to,
Chloe, right?
Actually, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it had to be Chloe. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe I'm wrong.
It might have been.
Who knows?
You're exactly right. Who knows? That's absolutely not me. I can tell you that much. Now,
I thought you pride yourself on your Kardashian knowledge.
Jenner, I do kind of.
Kardashian
I do,
knowledge.
Just like their dating stuff, but I do have to read about it because it just doesn't come off like my head. And it's not easy if you know what I'm trying to say. Now, we've been watching the world go absolutely crazy the last couple days, but I wanted to ask this question, and this is a horrible thing to bring up, and I want to know why is this the day after Kobe Bryant Day. Last night, again, 24-8 was the score. LeBron hit one from almost half court. They destroyed them. All of them had 24 and 8. It was Kobe night. So the first thing I woke up to it and basically read, well, it wasn't the first thing because it was at 9 o'clock this morning. I was reading, and Island Express, the company that operated the helicopter that killed Kobe Bryant, 8 others, is now suing 2 air traffic controllers who claim they caused the crash by causing the pilot stress. I don't know how, or I'm not saying there's ever just a great time, but literally his birthday was 2 days ago. It was like Kobe Day, and they've made it like a national thing. The Lakers celebrate it. And then when you come out with this the very next day, I hate to say this, I just want to say shame on you, Island Express. Am I wrong there? What do you think?
Look, man, this has been a ridiculous mess. The whole thing around Kobe and Gigi's and whoever else was on that helicopter's death. It's been a complete disaster. And it's compounded by more litigation, everything else. It's hard to sit back and watch all of the news that comes out about it because it's just damn,
well, man, that's
I don't know what to say about it. I mean, it's just
sad to me. I think
whenever I see them, it's I don't even want to read the story. It's
I know
can't,
what you think. I understand you got litigation. I understand, but there's just I don't know. There's always
these are lives, and it's I understand you have to go and try and get compensated for all the mistakes that were made, but it's just hard for me personally to go and sort through that news, if that makes sense.
No, that makes total sense. Now, are you ready for this? The fastest man in the world. Do you know what happened to him?
He's getting slowed down a little bit, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. And the thing that stinks about it, it just happened right after his birthday party, and a lot of people were scolding him. I don't know if you saw the, you're in the back, you're it always seems like once a superstar athlete gets caught with a bunch of people and they show a bunch of pictures of a party, remember the tennis player, and he tried to blame it on everybody
Novak
else.
Djokovic.
Yeah, he's blaming it on everybody else. And now you have Mr. Bolt. Yes, Bolt of Lightning. Usain Bolt tests positive for COVID-19 after his maskless birthday bash. Now, there's a couple people that it kind of matters to because there was a couple other, he's an Olympic legend. But you also have some other people that were kind of celebrities and athletes and a bunch of things like that. But I can tell you this, the good thing about so far, nobody else has tested positive but him. Is that possible?
Yeah,
I guess
possible.
Yeah, it is. I guess it is.
It's possible.
Just seems like once somebody at one place gets it, it's it spreads.
I mean,
quickly.
it's improbable, but it's
very
possible.
Improbable, but I guess it is possible. Did you see the freak out by the American Airlines passenger?
No, I didn't.
Dude.
I want to now, though.
I
always appreciate a good freak out.
This one's funny. Air travel, is probably there ain't a lot going on, and I can understand it's probably a little bit stressful.
Let me guess. Was it about a mask? Wearing a mask?
Meltdown.
About wearing a mask.
Yep.
Oh, there you go. It's pretty easy.
The video
to
is
guess
wild.
nowadays.
The video is the dude is screaming at the flight attendant, and the man just lost his cool after being told to keep his face covered, and then he kept saying, I don't know about this. If you're sitting in a seat, and I know it's hot outside, I was wearing my mask when I walked up in this joint, and I don't like these. I don't. But we're just doing this because we want football, and we're trying to keep people safe, and I don't want to get sick, I ain't gonna lie. But damn, dude, if you're on an airplane and a flight attendant, after 9/11, I know what, that, I don't know, I know you don't remember these days. I remember my mom smoking on the plane. And people just getting tore up from the floor up, man. Drinks, smoking cigarettes, going, like you would show up 20 minutes before your flight and just run on that joint. Flying was different years ago. It has changed a whole lot. They have air marshals on there that will cap you or you know what. So don't argue with the flight attendant or you'll get arrested. So again, the man who lost his mind and basically said this, and this is why, by the way, he got arrested. He literally started, after yelling at the woman for 19 minutes, that when he put his mask on for 2 minutes, said, I can't breathe. Dude, you can't breathe because you were yelling at the flight attendant for 19 minutes. That's why you can't breathe. If you would have just sat quietly in your deadgum seat with your mask on, guess what? You wouldn't have gotten your butt arrested in a flight, what do they call them? Flight marshals or?
Air marshals.
Air marshals. Wouldn't have had to take you down and break you down, if you know what I'm saying. WWE, you're trashy. That is a bad mistake on you. I got to say, David Bodie for the Cubs hit a 455-foot bomb yesterday, but it was Albert Pujols who's climbing the RBI list, climbing the everything list. And it is also Mike Trout who makes me laugh that his friend got $3 million to be exact from one of his cards. That is just really, really cool. But I got one more little segment left before I pass the baton off to Wolo and Stats. Remember, we'll be back in 2 shakes on Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7 FM.
It's R&R on Sports.
The word is out about R&R on Sports, where you've heard interviews from Ken Griffith Jr., Dr. J, Hank Aaron, and many, many more. R&R on Sports, Saturday mornings, 10 a.m., Sports 56, 87.7, and 96.1. Don't miss us.
All 75 months at 2.99 APR, G4 LHFO 7857, Outlander LUO 29538, Eclipse LZO 15617, includes all rebates and incentives. PF 59875, excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through the end of the month. Dealer stock only.
It's time to fully charge your summer with great savings from Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. You'll find 0% APR for 60 months, plus $500 cash back. Drive your ambition in a new 2020 Mitsubishi Mirage G4, $139 a month, or buy for $12,435, 41 MPG Highway. 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport is ready for any adventure at $229 a month, or buy for $18,573. And cross over to summer in a 2020 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, $19,107 or $229 a month, backed by a stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty. Mirage G4, $139 a month, Outlander Sport, $229 a month, and Eclipse Cross, $229 a month. Get to Gossett Mitsubishi today, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses will buy a house in any area, in any condition, and yes, it's guaranteed to close in 5 days. If you need to sell your home quickly, call 901-406-1101. If you've been through a divorce, if you lost your job, if you're tired of renters, I Buy Houses can get you your money quickly. I Buy Houses will buy your home in Shelby County, DeSoto County, Memphis, Bartlett, South Haven, Horn Lake, Olive Branch, anywhere and everywhere in between, in any condition. And yes, they're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pen, 901-406-1101. I Buy Houses.
Hey, frequent heartburn may keep you from running your A game, but it doesn't have to anymore. Join the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. Just go to prilosecotc.com. You'll get $3 off to get you started, plus 14 days of tips, tricks, and reminders. Just 2 weeks, zero heartburn. Go to prilosecotc.com and sign up today. Zero heartburn is possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
We are Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM, 96.1 FM, and 87.7 FM. As well as online around the world at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere on your phone or tablet by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, tell Google or Alexa to play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Chad Gatlin is your Mid-South Farmers agent, and he's easy to find. Just go to memphisfarmers.com to get a fast quote or call his office at 901-237-1176. And during this wild time we're all facing, know Chad has you covered. Whether you need to file a claim, get a quote, or just talk about what he can do to give you the absolute best coverage at the best price. Chad is a Memphis man and knows the area and that everyone is different, and he will work to make sure you have everything you need and nothing you don't. Get a fast quote at memphisfarmers.com or call 901-235-1176.
Now back to Johnny Radio's Happy Hour. Let's go! On Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. Here's your host, John Harden.
Yo, 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 I got to come in and break in and say, remember this. Thanks for listening to Sports 56 Happy Hour all day with Johnny Radio and Gabe Kuhn. But don't forget, Jazz Nuggets, 5:30. Nuggets, they trail 3-1. Jazz trying to close this junt out. I think that they do it tonight. Donovan Mitchell's been an absolute madman. Come on, Mike. You just had a new baby. He's back in there playing. Keep this thing going. Kristaps Porzingis, he will not play with the Mavericks. Luka has been absolutely amazing. There's no way that he can just carry this team without, Kristaps and Tim Hardaway Jr. I just don't see it happening. Clippers, in my opinion, take the 3-2 series lead over the Mavs. But I got a story I got to tell y'all. Two positive ones. One, the Detroit Lions, they canceled practice just so players could speak on the Jacob Blake shooting. Again, Matthew Stafford says one of the only times, it's the most proud he's ever been to be a Lion. I actually did hear Eli Savoy say something about that, and he's like, dude, how many times were you proud of being a Lion? So at least you have something. I also have to tell y'all, this is, real quickly before I get to one more good story, the Cameron Smith news. Have you heard about the Vikings linebacker?
What about him?
Bro, I didn't know this happened, but just a few weeks ago, he tested positive for COVID. Then they found out he had congenital issues at your heart. He just came out of a heart surgery on Monday. Smith said that earlier this month he was diagnosed with coronavirus. Then the doctors did further testing. He had the myocarditis thingy. Next thing you know, they had to do some surgery. I hope he's going to be okay. I hope he actually gets to get back on the field someday. But first and foremost, I hope he's going to be okay and that he's going to be good there and he's going to spend a long time with his family. Speaking of a long time, Russell Wilson. You're not supposed to doubt this guy because he's always been out there just doing things and been very exceptional. But he said that he just feels like he got to his prime and has another 15 years of football in him. 15 years of football left. That would mean he plays till he's 46. I love Russell Wilson, but that sounds absolutely insane and no way.
What do you think about him running, getting outside of the pocket at 46?
No, dude. He won't be able to run around. Like, when you're 46, you know how hard it is to never mind. It's hard. It's very hard to do things. But the last thing I had to say is Harry Maguire is a soccer player for Manchester United. He's been found guilty of a number of charges stemming from a massive brawl in Greece last week. The 27-year-old superstar was vacationing with family. They said that somebody gave his sister a date rape drug. So next thing you know, there's a full-on brawl. Well, there was also officers in plain clothes who tried to break it up. Well, the scuffle he ended up punching a couple of the police. Anyway, he got arrested, and do you know what he pulled on him? Do you know who I am? I'm the captain of Manchester United. I'm very rich. I can give you money. I can play you. Please let us go. Nope. Maguire was held in custody for 2 days before being released on Saturday, and he has been found guilty. Man, that's crazy stuff, isn't it? Now, nothing is crazy, but I'll tell you what. Coming up next, you got Wolo and Drew Barrett and my buddy Carl. So don't touch that dial. Sports Time is next on Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7 FM.